Welcome back to Steve and Abby English, everyone. I am Steve.
And I am Abby. We are so happy to be hanging out with you again today.
We really are. Thank you so much for returning and making us a part of your day. Today, we are talking about something we all deal with. We are talking about how we structure our daily lives, how we spend our free time, and our real daily habits.
Oh, I really love this topic. Because let us be honest, everyone has completely different habits. But we all share that exact same struggle of trying to roll out of bed on a freezing cold Monday morning.
That is the absolute ultimate universal struggle. Especially when it is pouring rain outside, your alarm is ringing, and your bed just feels way too warm and cozy. You might be sitting there thinking, how do native speakers actually talk about these simple, everyday moments?
Exactly. Because in normal textbooks, you might just learn basic phrases like, I wake up, or I sleep. But in real life, we use so many specific little idioms to describe our routines. And honestly, native speakers talk really fast when they talk about their everyday lives.
They really do talk fast. They blend all their words together, especially with all these tiny phrasal verbs. If you ever feel like you are missing words when native speakers talk at their normal speed about everyday routines, please do not worry. It might feel challenging at first, but that is completely normal. Listening muscle memory takes real time to build.
It really does take time. Please do not be hard on yourself at all. Actually, a really great way to build that listening muscle memory is to read along while you listen to us. You can easily just grab our free full-text transcript right down in the show description.
That is such a practical tip. Having that free full-text transcript open on your phone while we chat will seriously help you catch all those fast, messy native phrases we are going to use today. It is totally free and right there for you, so make sure you download it before we start.
I highly recommend using it. It makes matching the spoken sounds to the real words so much easier. Okay, so speaking of everyday routines and habits, I think I need to confess something about my weekends.
Oh, I am so ready for this. You know I love a good structured schedule, but I know you prefer to go with the flow.
I definitely do. I have a whole different strategy.
All right, let us jump right into today's first real talk.
So, you know how everyone on the internet always talks about building these super productive, perfect morning routines? Like drinking hot lemon water at 6 in the morning, writing in a journal, and then going outside to run 5 miles before the sun even comes up?
Oh yeah, I see those videos everywhere.
Right? Well, I was seriously trying to do that last week. I wanted to change my habits. So I set my alarm for 6 in the morning for the whole week. But by the time Friday night actually rolled around, I was completely exhausted from my job. I was just lying on the couch, staring blankly at the ceiling, thinking about that early alarm ringing the next day.
That sounds totally draining.
It really was so draining. My brain was just foggy. So right then and there, I made a very conscious choice. I grabbed my phone from the coffee table, opened my clock settings, found that horrible alarm for Saturday morning, and I just turned it completely off. I decided I was just going to sleep in and not feel bad about it.
Good for you. Sometimes you really just need that extra rest to survive.
Exactly. I mean, let us be real. I am definitely not a morning person anyway. I never have been. So Saturday morning finally came, and I ended up waking up totally naturally around 10. The bright sunlight was shining straight through my window, and my bedroom felt incredibly warm and safe. I just stayed hidden under the heavy blankets for another 30 minutes, stretching and doing absolutely nothing at all.
That honestly sounds like a perfect, cozy morning.
It was pure magic. It was so quiet in the house. But then, of course, my cat decided he was starving. He jumped right onto the bed from the floor and started walking heavily across my chest. He does this funny thing where he gently bites my hair and purrs really loud if I try to ignore him.
Classic cat behavior right there.
Totally classic. So my peaceful, relaxing morning was officially over. I finally dragged my heavy body out of bed, put on my thickest, fluffiest slippers, and slowly walked all the way down the hall to the kitchen. I was just making a simple cup of coffee when I suddenly realized I had absolutely zero energy to actually cook real breakfast. I just opened the door and stared directly into the empty fridge.
Wait, I did the exact same thing last Tuesday. It was a total disaster. I just stood there with the door open, hoping warm food would magically appear on the shelf.
Yes, that is exactly what I did. You just stand there looking sadly at old ketchup bottles and a piece of cheese. Anyway, I gave up on cooking immediately. I ended up ordering a massive, greasy breakfast sandwich from that cute little corner cafe down the street. It took 30 minutes to arrive, but it was so worth it. I was sitting there, eating it on the couch while watching funny cartoons in my pajamas, totally ignoring my big list of weekend chores. It felt incredibly good to just forget the strict schedule and catch up on life.
Honestly, you have to let go sometimes to keep your sanity.
I really do. If I try to force myself to wake up super early on a weekend, I just end up feeling grumpy and miserable all day long. I am learning to accept my natural habits. Sleeping in is definitely my favorite way to recharge my batteries for the next busy week.
Hold on, before we go further, you just used some great words there. Let us get into our real talk breakdown. Welcome to our first breakdown. Let us carefully look at 3 amazing everyday phrases Abby just used to describe her weekend routine. Our first phrase is, to sleep in.
Yes, I decided I was just going to sleep in. We use this specific phrase when we intentionally choose to sleep later than usual in the morning. It is totally different from the word oversleeping. Oversleeping is a stressful accident that makes you late for work. Sleeping in is a happy, cozy, and deliberate choice.
Exactly. Using sleep in makes your spoken English sound so much more relaxed and natural. It shows you are taking good care of yourself. Please do not worry if you mix it up with oversleeping at first. Understanding that subtle feeling just takes time and practice. Here is my daily example. I plan to sleep in tomorrow because it is a national holiday.
And here's my everyday example. After a super long flight, the best thing to do is just sleep in. Okay, moving on. Our second phrase is morning person. I am definitely not a morning person anyway.
This is such a deeply common way native speakers talk about their daily personality. Instead of just saying, I do not like waking up early, which sounds a bit stiff and robotic, we simply say, we are not a morning person. It feels so much more human, warm, and relatable. It instantly tells a little story about your identity.
It really does. It is such a friendly, harmless phrase to use in casual office conversation. Here's a quick example. My husband wakes up at 5 every single day. He is definitely a morning person.
And my conversational example. I always try to exercise early, but honestly, I am just not a morning person. All right, let us smoothly move to our third phrase. Abby said she wanted to catch up on life. The phrasal verb is catch up on.
Right. We use catch up on when we need to do something important that we simply have not had time to do recently. You can catch up on sleep, catch up on laundry, or even catch up on a great television show. It gives this comforting feeling of balancing your busy life again after being way too stressed.
It is a beautifully honest phrase because it shows we all naturally fall behind sometimes. Using emotional phrases like this makes you sound so much softer and more authentic, not just like a correct student reciting a grammar book. My example is, I really need to catch up on my emails this afternoon.
And my everyday example sentence is, this weekend, I just want to catch up on my favorite podcasts.
Okay, now that we have got those everyday words down, let us look at the flip side in real talk too.
So, Steve, we just talked endlessly about my lazy weekend mornings. But I know your personal daily routine looks completely different from mine, especially when the sun finally goes down.
Oh, it is basically the exact opposite of your routine. You know, I absolutely love my highly organized schedules during the day. I always have my work meetings planned, my healthy meals prepped, and my daily tasks completely sorted out. But the hidden truth is, I am a total night owl. Once the late evening hits, my brain suddenly wakes up out of nowhere and decides it is time to be fully active.
I completely relate to that feeling.
Right? So, last Wednesday night is a perfect example of my really bad daily habits. I happily finished all my office work around 6 in the evening. I made a nice healthy dinner, wiped down the kitchen counters, and promised myself I was actually going to bed early for once. I really wanted to be a responsible adult.
Damage control.
Exactly, pure damage control. But by 10 o'clock, the entire house was completely dark and strangely quiet. I was just sitting quietly in my favorite living room chair, trying to read a terribly boring business book just to help me fall asleep. I was trying so incredibly hard to wind down and successfully relax my racing mind.
But let me guess, the boring book did not work at all?
It completely failed me. I tossed the heavy book right onto the coffee table. Then, I made the absolute worst mistake you can possibly make late at night. I picked up my glowing phone just to quickly check my personal messages. Next thing I know, I am falling deep inside a never-ending black hole of extremely random short internet videos.
Oh no, not the short videos!
Yes, the worst digital trap ever invented. I was deeply focused on watching videos of strange people building tiny wooden houses in the forest, guys restoring old rusty farm tools, and random golden retrievers learning how to ride skateboards. Suddenly, I looked up at the digital clock on the kitchen wall, and it was almost 1 in the morning.
Classic late-night mistake.
It really is the classic mistake. My tired eyes were burning, but my brain still did not feel tired at all. So, I finally forced myself to put the phone away. But right then, my stomach started growling super loudly. Since I am such a night owl, I always get this weird, powerful midnight hunger craving. I walked slowly and quietly to the kitchen so I would not wake up my downstairs neighbors.
Midnight snacks are honestly the absolute best. What did you end up finding hidden in there?
Well, I slowly opened the pantry door and found half a stale bag of salty potato chips and some weird spicy bean dip. I just stood right there in the dark kitchen, eating cold chips directly over the sink like a wild animal. I was chewing so quietly so no one would hear my secret shame.
That paints quite the funny picture.
It was a very low moment for my supposed healthy daily routine. After my terrible midnight snack, I finally walked back to my cold bedroom. I was just lying in bed, staring blankly at the ceiling, thinking about how my early morning alarm was going to completely punish me in just a few hours. I realized that properly winding down is actually a difficult skill I desperately need to practice way more.
It is a serious struggle.
It really is. I always promise myself I will change my ways, but the quiet peace of the late night is just way too tempting to ignore. I honestly love having those completely quiet hours entirely to myself when the rest of the busy world is finally asleep.
That is such a completely different vibe. But wait, I heard you drop some highly interesting phrases. Time for our second Real Talk breakdown.
Welcome to our second breakdown. Your late night story was funny, and you used some fantastic vocabulary. Let us pull out 3 useful expressions you used to describe your evening habits. The first one is night owl. I said that I am a total night owl.
Yes, you did. This is the exact opposite of being a morning person. A night owl is someone who feels much more awake and productive late at night. Instead of saying, I like staying up late, calling yourself a night owl gives you a fun, relatable identity.
Exactly. Please do not feel strange using these animal idioms. It might feel challenging at first to call yourself a bird, but that is completely normal in casual spoken English. Learning to use them takes practice. Here is my everyday example. My brother is a massive night owl, so he studies at 2 in the morning.
And here is my casual example sentence. If you are a true night owl, working an early office job can be really tough. Okay, moving right along to our second expression. Steve, you talked about trying hard to wind down.
Yes, wind down is an absolutely incredible phrasal verb. We use this specific phrase when we need to slowly relax after a period of high stress or a busy day. It is the process of preparing your tired body for sleep. It is much more natural than saying, I am decreasing my energy.
It is way more natural. Saying you need to decrease your energy sounds like you are a robot. Winding down feels soft, human, and comforting. It describes a slow, gradual release of pressure. Here is my daily example. I like to drink warm tea to wind down after a crazy day.
That is a completely perfect example. And here is mine. Listening to soft jazz music really helps me wind down before going to sleep. All right, our third and final word from that story is craving. I said I get a powerful midnight hunger craving.
Oh, I love this word. A craving is a very strong, specific desire for a certain type of food. You do not just want food in general. You want something exactly like salty chips right in that moment.
It is a wonderful alternative to simply saying, I am very hungry. Craving explains that strong emotional pull. Here is my casual everyday example. I have a huge craving for hot pizza tonight.
And my quick example is, whenever it rains outside, I get a big craving for warm soup. Building these natural phrases into your daily vocabulary takes real time, so please be patient with yourself.
We have covered some great expressions today, but there are a few sneaky traps you really need to watch out for. Let us jump straight into common mistakes and make sure you do not get them wrong.
Welcome to the Error Clinic. Let us talk about where people usually get this wrong when using today's vocabulary.
Our first major trap is confusing sleeping in with oversleeping. I hear students say, I overslept on Sunday because I was so tired.
Oh, I hear that all the time, but the quick fix is to say, I slept in on Sunday.
Exactly. The reason why is simple. Oversleeping is an accident that makes you late. Sleeping in is a happy, intentional choice.
That makes total sense. Okay, our second trap involves the phrasal verb catch up on. A lot of learners will simply say, I need to catch up my sleep this weekend.
That is a very common mistake. The correct fix is, I need to catch up on my sleep.
Right, you need that little word in there.
Yes, you do. The why here is that catch up is the action, but you need the word on to connect it to the specific thing you are doing.
Perfect. Our third and final trap is about being a night owl. Sometimes people drop a tiny word and say, I am night owl.
I totally catch that missing word too. The easy fix is to say, I am a night owl.
Exactly. Do not forget the letter A.
The Y is just because night owl is a countable noun phrase describing your identity. Just like saying, I am a teacher. You need that article right in front.
All right, let us do a rapid review. Do not say, I overslept on purpose. Say, I slept in.
Do not say, catch up my sleep. Say, catch up on my sleep.
And do not say, I am night owl. Say, I am a night owl.
And that is how you use them in the wild. But how does that compare to what you learned in school? Let us check out textbook versus real life.
Welcome to Textbook versus Real Life. Keep in mind, textbook English is 100% understandable, so please do not be hard on yourself if you use it. We just want to give you more natural options. Here is our first comparison.
The textbook way is, I do not like mornings.
The real-life spoken way is, I am not a morning person. This simply sounds much more like a friendly personality trait instead of a negative complaint.
Our second textbook phrase is, I will go to bed very late.
The real-life version is, I am a night owl. Using this fun animal phrase makes you sound incredibly fluent and deeply connected to the culture.
Textbook example number 3 is, I need to relax before bed.
In real life, we usually say, I need to wind down. This gives a much softer, physical feeling of slowing your body down.
Moving to number 4. The textbook says, I stayed in bed longer today.
But in real life, we say, I slept in today. This specific phrase feels so much cozier, happier, and totally intentional.
And our fifth textbook sentence is, I am very hungry for a snack.
The real-life expression is, I have a huge craving. This shows a very strong, specific desire for food, rather than just basic hunger.
All right, you have heard us talk enough. It is time to build that listening muscle memory. Let us jump into the shadowing practice.
This is where you actually build your speaking confidence. Our quick pro tip for today is to hit the pause button right after you hear each sentence. Repeat it out loud at your own completely comfortable pace. It really helps your brain.
Our first sentence today is about our late-night habits. You can use this whenever you want to explain your evening energy to a friend. Listen and repeat. I am such a night owl.
I am such a night owl.
Moving on to the second one. This phrase is perfect for when you arrive home exhausted and need to relax. Here we go. I really need to wind down.
I really need to wind down.
And our final expression is genuinely great for explaining your lazy weekend mornings. Listen closely and repeat. I decided to sleep in.
I decided to sleep in. Great job today, everyone! Let us nicely wrap things up with some final thoughts.
Today, we learned how to talk about your daily routines using real, natural phrases instead of textbook sentences.
Remember, learning a language takes time. Some days will feel slow, but every time you show up, you are moving forward. Stay consistent, stay curious, and trust the process.
Please hit the like button. It only takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps the channel reach more learners just like you. Subscribe because there are new episodes every week.
Are you a morning person or a night owl? Leave your answers in the comments. Thank you for your time, and click on the next video to keep leveling up your English.